story. See, I wasn't gonna wear green, but I pulled it out the closet at the last minute, and she shows up with green. That's amazing! Welcome, Shanai. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
It's so
excited.
good to be. I'm excited. I'm just thrilled.
Oh, me too. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
And that's going to segue us into what I want to talk about first. You as a beautiful dancer, an anointed gift that you have. The last time we saw each other, we performed at the McDonald's Gospel Fest, and that was amazing.
Yes, it was.
NBC
it was a
covered
great
it. They
experience.
actually edited our performance. Did you see that?
They did.
It was amazing.
I did.
So that was the last time I ministered with you in dance. And then we did the play together. And so just tell us about what's been going on and how you got started as a dancer.
Well, how I got started, I started in the church. And I believe it's it was a very important way of starting my process as a dancer, because that was me truly dedicating my gift of dance to the Lord. So I started at Abundant Life Family Worship Church in New Brunswick, and I was 5 years old. By the age of 12, I was on the worship team, leading with the adults, and I just knew that this is where the Lord needed me to be, and He was using dance as my avenue to really, truly minister to people.
Yes, you have a special gift too. We'll get to the other part of your personal life with the therapy, but you have a gift with people, and you take the time, because you took the time with me when we were doing Angie B's play. That's when my hip started to go south on me, and I couldn't do some of the choreography. And you were like, no problem, we're going to modify it, and we're not going to go on the floor. I said, you don't have to change the choreography for my sake, but, and you were so gracious. And that was the starting of that, but you didn't know that, and I didn't know then. But then later on, when we were getting ready for, I think, Gospel Fest, that's when I was having trouble. And you helped me stretch. And people, this is what I want to get out. People don't take the time anymore to really love on people and take the time to know what's going on. If you don't know someone is in pain because you don't get to know them or go the extra mile, and you go that extra mile, and that's part of your anointing. Sure, dance is great and wonderful, powerful, leaping across the stage and doing turns, but your love for people and love for your art form and the anointing, that just touches many, and that's what I want to do here. That's all. So glad you're here. So what school did you go to?
So I didn't go to school right away. In the ministry, we had our instructors, our leaders of the ministry were at Mason Gross in New Brunswick for records, so they were actually students for dance. So we learned all of our foundation in church. Then in high school, I transitioned to a dance major, and I auditioned for the dance company there, and that's where I got a lot of like my jazz and tap and other forms that I wasn't necessarily getting in church. And then in college, I started taking dance classes at Steps in the city. I was there religiously. Yes.
Back in the 1900s?
Yes. I loved it. So I was there frequently, a few times throughout the week. And then I auditioned for a company called Work of Art. It was a Christian professional company in New Jersey, and I was with them for 2 years. So that's how my extent of dance started and developed and evolved.
So when was the pivotal moment that you knew that you were going to be doing this for the rest of your life? This was your calling. When did you know that?
I actually drew a picture, and I tell the story all the time, for my grandmother when I was a kid, and it was a building, and every level had the things that I wanted to do. So I had a doctor's office, I had a dance studio, I had a school, and I didn't, like you were saying, like God gives you all these gifts, and it's like, okay, what do I do with this? Am I really going to do this? So I just watched how the Lord just positioned me into different things in my life and started to open up those things. And it was just really me just being a good steward within that time frame. Right. So like I focused, when I was in college, my focus was college at that time, but I still worked at the gift of dance, because I really knew that's what it was. Like, I was in high school, I was involved in everything, but it was definitely right after high school, I was like, I really need to focus on what the Lord is giving me to focus on, and that was dance, definitely. And perfecting that gift, because I knew that he was going to utilize not dance just to perform, but dance to really minister to people and bring people to him.
Because that breaks the yoke. People don't realize that we're not just dancing.
Yeah.
It's not just praise dance. You know, we're dancing the Word of God.
Yes.
And your prayer life matters.
Intercession, yes.
Your devotional time with the Lord matters. And during my years of teaching, a lot of young people, you know, they come in with their phones. This generation, they come in with their phones, and you have to beg them to put the phones down. It's like, why? Really?
It's like there's security now.
Back in the day, we had to go audition for everything. Bring your picture. There was no digital anything. You know, and that wasn't that long ago. And you see the same faces at the same auditions. Yeah. And you know, you say, yeah, go with, they wouldn't say, go girl, or nothing like that. Yeah. But you know, you all there, you go hang out after, you get something to eat. So they don't really understand. That was just regular dancing in the world. As a minister, I wasn't really I wasn't really running for my calling. It's just what, you know, how you have to do a little bit more in the world, and you have to go to school.
It was something you loved doing.
You know, and then God said, he dried up all those jobs.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'm just going to worship the Lord, because that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and when you start doing for him, and he gets the glory out of all of it, he's going to take each one of those gifts, multiply them. My gifts have multiplied.
Yes.
I was in a place, when I went to Christ Church in Montclair, that was my favorite place to be. That was my training ground for leadership. I was in every ministry, dance ministry, drama ministry, film ministry. I was singing in the choir, on the worship team, you know, but it was preparing me for now. Yeah. You know, so I know, so that's what God is doing with you. You had to test the waters, you had to train over here, you had to learn these things and these setbacks, and that leads me into the next question. How did you handle your setbacks and the trials that you were faced with?
Wow. My family is a huge support system for me. We're extremely close. And then we're also a family who really, truly understands how God is centered in everything that we do. Yeah. So even in those moments where I feel discouraged, or I feel like I'm in darkness, like I don't know what's happening. Like, I know you're here, Lord, but I don't really see things moving or shifting. You know, definitely family was a motivator for me and a support system to keep me grounded and to keep me focused on the end goal. Absolutely. Family, my ministries that I were part of, you know, they were a support system as well. And then just really making sure that I spent the time with the Lord and just, you know, just had that intimate time with him, for him to love on me and him to remind me, like, I got you, you know, like, you're not in this by yourself. I'm right here, I'm right next to you. My relationship with the Lord is number one, and I feel like he provided those earthly things like my family and my ministries and stuff like that to support me, but because he knew you need those, you need relationships. Like, he created that for us. But definitely keeping him centered was what I needed to do, and that is what kept me going, is the Lord, definitely.
Amen. And one final question with you as a, you know, dancer. Did you, I know we all deal with, you know, when we get to the next level of greatness, there's different demons or devils, as you would say, but it shows up in the form of a friend, or it shows up in a form of something that wants to pull you back. How did you deal with that on a, I guess on a, when you're by yourself, you know, sometimes things happen, you don't call on your family, but you're in the moment and you have to deal with a situation like that. How did you deal with situations like that?
Worship.
You have to, because the battle is not ours. It's the Lord's.
And it's not even a religious thing. It's just like, I know that if I don't give honor to God, if I don't cry out to him, if I don't honor and thank him for even what I'm going through. It is a mental game, because that's the only way the enemy can play with us and shift us and move us, is really messing with our minds.
Right.
And it's when you get into those places, you really just have to say, God, I love you and I worship you, and he would give us so much peace.
That's right.
Peace that passes all understanding, it says. So it's just like, even in those moments where I should be angry, I should be distraught, I should be laid out on the floor because someone probably betrayed me or, broke my trust, anything. It's the Lord. It's his presence, it's his love, and that intimacy with him. It's so important.
Amen. So listen, folks, when we come back, we're going to talk more with Shanai about Soul Expressions Dance School of the Arts.
Yes.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to Real Talk with Crystal Glass. I'm here with Shanai Henderson. Shanai, tell us about your school.
Well, our school is going into 7 years. We'll be 7 years in May. We are a nonprofit organization for children starting at the age of 3, all the way up until adulthood. And our focus is helping anyone that come in our doors to be able to perform, whether they have a disability or not. I know we'll get into my other profession as an occupational therapist shortly, but just bringing in my clinical background along with my love for the arts, it gives me an opportunity to make sure that we're training and teaching kids, and even shifting the way we teach, so that we're making sure that everyone that comes into our doors is able to learn.
Absolutely. I love that, and I've seen you in action.
Yeah.
As we used to rehearse out of your space, getting ready and preparing for Gospel Fest, I would come in and see you working with the little ones. You're so good with the little ones, and you're even better with the adults. They're so cute. And I was just amazed by that. So when you got the calling to start the school, did you know right away what age group you wanted to start with?
No idea. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to happen as fast as it did either. I was working at a gymnastics school because I was like, you know what, Lord, I still want to keep doing my part to prepare and do the things I need to do. And I know Afro dance is like a really big form of, dance that's utilized in schools now. So I was like, I got to brush up on my gymnastics skills a little bit.
Right.
So I connected with a friend who connected me with a friend, and I started teaching at her school in Jersey City.
Oh.
I did that for a summer. I got some training there, got my certification through USA Gymnastics, and then I went back to school. And I got a year later, she called me, was like, hey, I know you wanted to open up a dance studio. She's like, I have a room that would be perfect for you if you want it. We're relocating to Orange, New Jersey, which is where my studio is at now. And I think it would be a great fit. So I came down, I checked out the studio. That's actually where we first rehearsed. And and I've been there ever since. And I really felt the Lord in it, and I just started building my clientele in the city, and it's truly been a blessing to be there.
I used to go there and jump on the trampoline.
Yes, we got used to the gymnastics school.
Yes, so out of that, starting there, then how did you get into your other programs?
So we built, I was teaching majority of the classes at first, the first few years. Then by year 2, I did get a hip hop instructor on, so I was able to focus on developing some other programs in the school. Autism program is something, it's still in the works. We're really trying to launch that this year, by the fall of this year. And it's a theater arts program that we developed. We actually rewrote the script, we composed the music, and it's an opportunity for children on the spectrum to really come and express themselves through music, through dancing, through acting, and with whatever avenue we feel that they would really gravitate more to. We really wanted to give them that opportunity and help them with the process, whether it's just if they only gain expressing somewhat emotion, so a new emotion out of it, that's great. That's a plus. That's something we're looking for. If they're actually able to sing or learn an instrument, how to play an instrument, they're getting something out of it, and that's our true goal. And just the socialization.
I think that's awesome. That's really awesome, because kids today, they need different types of outlets, not just regular ballet, not just regular tap, not just regular, but to do it in an environment that's God sent. Well, you know, we love God, of course, so everything that we do is going to be to shine a light on Him. You know, we have to love His children, no matter what it is. Take our time to teach.
Patience.
Be patient, right? We know we have that patience to
Very
teach
important.
children, right? So, and then also with in the 7 years of that, what do you call it? Not just the foundation of your school, but your journey.
Yeah.
So along the way, now you're at 7 years. What's going on now?
Wow, we've grown significantly.
I know.
I think when you came on board with me, we were probably about maybe 7 students at the time. It was no more than 11, because I know the first few years it was really small. By the 3rd year, we actually moved into our own building. So we were subleasing for the first couple of years. We finally found our own location, and from that transition to our own building, we went from that between 6 to 11 kids, it was fluctuating, to about 32. Yeah, it drastically changed. And then that's almost doubled, like now. So it's consistently growing. And even the kids, it's really exciting to just see them like morph into something new. And it's so interesting you even brought up just our love for the Lord and just how that is a major impact on them, because my kids all want to take our worship class. Like they come in like, can we do liturgical? Are you having liturgical? Can we be a part of that? You know, and just to see that kind of like that love and desire to worship, and still not fully understanding what that is at their age, you know, it's exciting to see that hunger and that desire for that. It really is.
So now I do want to jump back a little bit. I want to talk about that Israel trip you took.
Okay.
And how that came about, because when you told me that, the hairs on my arms, I don't have any hair on my arms. you know how you get the chills. I was like, wow, that was amazing. Can you share that story with us?
So a year ago, I had the opportunity of taking a trip to Israel through an organization called Eagle's Wings. Bishop Stearns is over that. And he has a great connection with the House of Prayer that I'm a part of called Resting Place in Woodland Park.
For I live all day to see your face, so shine on me, oh Lord,
and he does a conference there. It's a worship conference every single year in Israel, where it's broadcasted on God Network, and it's right in front of the old city. They film it. So you had that in the background. So that was, you know, those things are exciting to think about, but it was just, wow, I'm going to our land, Lord, your home, to dance unto you.
What?
You know, just that thought alone. Talk about the nerves and the excitement. You know, it was beyond an honor. And it was really like, you know, they have that saying of like God just giving you a kiss of how much He loves you. He just kisses you on your forehead. It just gives you that gentle like, yeah, like I love you and this is for you. You know, it was just His way of saying almost thank you for, you know, continually dedicating your dance to me. And I will continue to put you on such platforms because of your humility and because of, you know, your love and your desire for me and for my children. So I really felt like just being there and really listening to Him and His land, like I keep saying, it's His land, it's His home. You know, listening to Him there, it was really a life-changing experience for me.
Would you go back?
I will most definitely.
Like
I really feel like it's home. I do.
I have to go visit.
You have to.
I have to.
At least once in your life, you have to. And I would go every year if I could. I really would.
Yeah, I would just want to become a tourist and just go.
Well, you're not a tourist.
Minister.
Yeah.
You know, just to look at I want to go anywhere that I can just see, like this is New York City, right? New York City, to see the sky scrape of New York City and what New York City is about, or go to Florida, go wherever to see the beautiful land like Arizona. When I flew over the Grand Canyon, I was like in awe of God's creation. Like that's just like, you know what I mean? So I know you got the same feeling when you went to Israel.
It's like walking through the Bible. The
Yeah.
word that we read daily is literally was like walking
Maybe
through
we'll
that.
bring the show
That would be amazing.
live from Israel next year with Shanai. Okay?
Yay!
I'm speaking it now to existence.
Yes.
So when we come back, we're going to come back with more to follow up with Miss Shanai Henderson. And welcome
Stay tuned.
back to Real Talk with Crystal Glass. I'm here with my dear friend Shanai Henderson. So Shanai, tell us about your therapy
career. I'm an occupational therapist. Many don't know what that is. So I basically help people to fulfill any occupation, whether it's dancing, whether it's being able to properly dress themselves, the occupation of being a student, and helping them to be successful in their classroom environment. We do those things, and we work, we work on their attention skills, their strength, their balance, their how they respond to different sensory inputs, what's happening in the environments. And I love it. I've been in pediatrics primarily. I did start out in geriatrics. I went right into a skilled nursing facility and rehab. And I utilize that as an opportunity to increase my medical skills and that hard clinical background. And then I went into the schools, and I've been in the schools for the past 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I still work at a children's hospital per diem just to go in and support there as much as possible. But I primarily work with making sure that kids in special education as well as general education are able to keep up with their curriculum, whatever it is within their classroom setting. Provide different strategies. I train teachers, I train parents, and just helping them to just be successful at what they need to be successful
You
at.
said something key to help the teachers.
Yeah.
A lot of teachers are, burnt out just from regular kids. Okay. And I have a few friends who are teachers and they teach special needs. How can you help them? How do you help the teachers with children with autism or children that need the occupational therapy?
It's so interesting. You said something earlier just about how I loved on you and helped you. And I think it's really important that you get to know that person. It's so important that you understand how they are, where, they may be having difficulty with, and honestly what they gravitate to as far as different strategies.
Right.
And that's the first step I take with helping the teachers, is really getting to know the kid, see what they need, and things that the teacher might not even notice. Down to, that they start getting antsy because they may need to stand, or they may need a movement break, or they may need to, and then that antsiness could progress to a big, a behavior or something else where we could have probably kind of helped them earlier before it even got to that point. So it's just those little things that when they're overwhelmed, or when they're not fully aware as to these are some things we should be looking for, I kind of help them in those areas. And I love even providing strategies for the class as a whole, because, that helps them as a teacher to be even better at what they do. Not that it's reducing my services, but it is helping us to really work as a team.
If you had a room full of your kids right now, and their parents and teachers, what would be your final thought to them?
To have fun doing what you love to do, to never be afraid to express yourself, because you have something to give to the world. We all are unique. You're so special, and we need that. Everyone needs that specialness that you carry. Even when you don't feel like it, we need it. The world needs it.
And your final thought to other artists, dancers, creative souls, what final thought did you have for them? Like a word of encouragement, a word of wisdom?
Don't be afraid to stand out. That's one thing. The Lord He's called us to be unique. He's called us to be set apart.
Yes.
And especially in the world of the arts, you kind of have to fit a mold. You got to fit in I don't know, as a certain type of dancer, you have to be a certain height. There's already a portfolio there's already something they're looking for, but God has created a light within us. And we just have to let that light shine, and to keep pressing, because even as trying to start a company, it hasn't been easy. There's been times where it's very discouraging, and it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but I kept pressing, and I kept focusing on that end goal. And that's what you just got to keep doing it, keep going for it.
Yeah, because in those moments when you want to give up, that's when the enemy is talking to you.
Yeah.
But you know your blessing is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So stay the course, people. Thank you for coming on, Shanai.
No problem.
And we'll just get some more information on how to contact you with the school and all the wonderful things that you do. So good.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for watching. It's a wrap until tomorrow. Oh, it's a wrap until tomorrow. Carlos in that camera. So thank you for watching. It's a wrap until tomorrow. Stay blessed and stay safe. Godspeed.